Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic. What's a food most people hate that you actually like? For some reason, everyone I know doesn't like sauerkraut. I like foods that have strong flavors, like salt and vinegar chips and drunken noodles, but most people I know don't like how sour it is. Edit, some questions answered. Drunken noodles is a Thai dish that is usually made with noodles, beef, peppers, maybe some other vegetables like eggplant, and seasoning. It's very good if there are a lot of peppers thrown in. I have had kimchi, it's pretty good, but I prefer to eat sauerkraut. I live in the US, although I would love to visit Germany one day, visit Oktoberfest, and drive on the Autobahn, as well as basically all of the other countries in Europe. I prefer to eat sauerkraut homemade, it tastes fresher that way, and usually eat it homemade, although occasionally I might eat a Reuben or something. Love it. Doesn't even have to be with anything. I'll just eat it. I have this cold sauerkraut I got from the grocery that's dill and garlic flavored, and I eat it straight from the jar. Broccoli. I like it with chicken. I like it by itself. I like it with carrots. I like it in my soup. Mixed in with eggs is nice too. My dog fucking loves broccoli stalks, which is perfect because I can't digest them and I'm paying for the whole head of broccoli anyway, so it might as well get eaten. Also, between the two of us we can destroy a whole bag of baby carrots in an afternoon. My dog is weird, but I love him. Edit for dog tax. His name is Sneeze and he's a very good boy. Apparently not a lot of people like oatmeal raisin cookies. I love them. Ever tried oatmeal cranberry? Those are really good too. Oatmeal cranberry with white chocolate. I friggy love cookies. Spinach is the shit. When I was younger I would take spinach salads to school. Everyone thought I was crazy when I popped out my Tupperware with only the dark leaves and douse it in ranch and go to town. Anytime I tell people now they use the vegetarians eat grass joke, when I still loved this shit when I ate meat. Edit, wow, y'all feel strongly for your spinach. Also, raw is the way to go fam, cooked is too slimy. Pan fried and smothered in garlic is the only exception. Also fixed typos. Edit 2, yes I do actually like spinach, no it's not just ranch that I like, any cream-based dressing, lemon juice with salt and pepper, or specifically Olive Garden Italian absolutely slaps on spinach. Edit 3, obligatory thank you for the silver, stranger. Spinach, lettuce. Goat cheese. It's like someone beautifully melded sour cream and cream cheese together in the perfect combo of texture and flavor. Who hates goat cheese? Edit, apparently everyone hates goat cheese. Crazy. Edit 2, I shouldn't have to say this, but comments calling all Americans ignorant or anything similar get you reported and blocked, especially when you're misquoting my own laws at me. Don't be a twat. To me the aftertaste reminds me of vomit. I eat almost everything but goat cheese I just can't stomach. Goat's cheese is great. The French know this. You could say, it's the goat. This thread made me realize that I'll eat fucking anything. I was thinking the same thing. I keep thinking, people hate that. Ha. Sprouts. One of my favorite sandwich additions, adds a great spice and crunch. Also, all the different varieties, but I find alfalfa my go-to. I like my sandwiches with alfalfa sprouts. Well, you're not in the fucking club. In my town there is a sandwich shop that sells a sandwich called the Emerald Aphrodite, and it has turkey, mozzarella, basil pesto, alfalfa sprouts and cucumber. Oh my, I could eat it every day for lunch. Brussels sprouts so good. Back when Brussels sprouts were America's #1 hated vegetable, almost everyone boiled them. Slimy, stinky skunk cabbages. Roasted sprouts are a completely different animal. People not liking vegetables is almost always because they're prepared wrong, usually way overcooked. Hell yeah. A little olive oil, salt, and pepper, then roasting them in the oven equals pure deliciousness. Don't forget the garlic. Okay, but hear me out, Brussels sprouts in a pan with butter, chestnuts and bacon bits. Sounds weird, tastes awesome. Tofu. Now that I know how to cook it, I absolutely adore it, but so many people hate and refuse to try it in the first place. I was in a wellness class recently and we were discussing our healthy foods, and when I said tofu, there was an audible sigh of disgust from almost every other person at the table. I don't get the hate. It's such a versatile protein. Oh well, all the more for me. The hate might be because a lot of people, especially Americans, haven't had tofu cooked nicely. Many people have only had it either in a bland, soggy health dish or in Chinese takeaway. But if you cook it right, it can taste delicious. It's also basically a flavor sponge. It'll soak up most things, so it can taste like whatever you want. I used to hate it because I had only had it in soup. And it was just this incredibly slimy cube. I hated the texture so much that it was years before I tried it again. Turns out, I just don't like it in soup. Removed. Oh man, I love crispy seaweed when I get Chinese food. I felt really stupid when someone told me it was actually cabbage. I love cabbage, but I can't get it very much because my vendor's cart gets destroyed often. Grapefruit. Everybody seems to only be able to stand the flavor if they drown it out with a pile of sugar, but I just peel it and eat it like an orange. Maybe it's because I grew up with it, but I really don't get why people hate it so much. It's tradition in my family for a grandparent to give a baby their first bit of grapefruit. Usually we get a hilarious reaction, but not from my second son. He loved it. This reminds me of the first time I gave my daughter a taste of ginger beer. She was very young, just beginning to talk. She took a sip and said, "Hot." There was a pause, then she said, "More." Blood orange, grapefruit, cherries and grapes is a nice combo. The one time I've had it, atto. I was out with a bunch of people from Japan, and they just all ordered stuff for the table. Things got passed around. I took a bit of everything, especially if I had no idea what it was. At some point, I asked what the bean dish was and if I could have some more. The table went silent and everyone looked at me like, what did I just hear the white guy say? Bossy is another one people were shocked that I enjoyed. Pickled fruit is not too hard to like. The salty sour explosion. I binge eat bossy. Mushrooms. Edit, wow, this blew up. I'm glad there's so many mushroom lovers like myself. Maybe it's a regional thing, but where I live and have lived, majority of people do not fuck with mushrooms. I love mushrooms. Stuffed, fried, sauteed, on pizza. I dare say it's one of my favorite foods tbh. Beets, especially on salads. Bears. And Battlestar Galactica. Raw tomatoes. Very tasty and refreshing. Apparently people have very strong opinions about tomatoes. I could eat grape tomatoes all fucky day. I prefer grape tomatoes for any tomato purpose. They always taste way better. I grew up eating tomatoes raw, and when me and my GF started dating, would casually grab the last bits of tomatoes and eat them. She was totally confused and thought it was super weird. Then I showed her, if you slice them up and put some salt and pepper on them, they are a delicious breakfast side dish. Edit, I have heard of more ways to eat a tomato and received more karma from a comment than ever before, all because I really like tomatoes. This is a wonderful place I will never truly understand. This is all funny to me. When I was a kid, the unspoken reward for the chore of weeding the garden was being able to pick out the ripest, juiciest tomato, stand right there and eat it like an apple while it's still warm from the sun. Delicious. We didn't have a lot of money when I was growing up, so my parents grew stuff that could be canned/preserved. We always had an abundance of tomatoes. In the summer, my siblings and I absolutely lived on tomato sandwiches. Sliced tomatoes on toasted white bread, a little mayo, some salt, pepper, and oregano is still one of my favorite quick meals. I'm ordinarily not a huge fan of mayonnaise, but the acid in the tomato kinda cuts into that gloppy mouthfeel and makes it a great compliment. I think some people just never have good tomatoes. I grew up in a tropical country where fresh fruits and vegetables are sold daily, so I love the sweet flavors of raw tomatoes. Then I came to the US, where tomatoes in grocery stores taste like cardboard because they were picked long before they ripened. Now I grow my own cherry tomatoes and frequent farmers market. I can snack on them all day. I also think people are just used to raw tomatoes as part of a salad plate, so it feels weird without dressing for them. Halva. It was a childhood treat and never knew that it was fairly unique to Eastern European/Middle Eastern families. It is so yummy, but none of my friends or husband and kids can stand it. I love halva. I'm not Middle Eastern, but I love it. We're the opposite. I grew up with Middle Eastern cuisine, but halva makes me gag. Give me kefir or baklava any day. Seaweed salad. I could eat seaweed salad all day. Do people not like this? I could literally eat this 3x a day and never ever get sick of it. It's just expensive. If you have a nation market near you, they pretty much all sell quart-sized tubs of it in the frozen section. It's cheap and it's the exact same kind restaurants get, the kind with bright green strands mixed in. Just thaw and enjoy. I suggest not actually eating it 3 times a day though, because it can be bad for you in large amounts due to its arsenic content. In small amounts it's perfectly healthy though.